Well, tired of getting staplers and buying staplers in China that are made in China that fall apart. Now, I do know that Swingline and Boss Stitch are now making staplers in China that are the old metal ones, just as good as the stuff that used to be made over here. But I'm kind of pissed off at those corporations because you know, they will throw you the American worker under the bus inside of 2 seconds flat, just so some CEO and corporate management can have a couple more dollars in their pockets. Now, I've had this Swingline. It's a USA one. I don't know if you can read that down there. Probably not, but it is a USA, made in New York, many years ago. That's probably about at least 55 years old. That outlasted all my other staplers, man. So I was looking for one made in the United States. I couldn't find one, so I found this company. This is in Sweden, and they've always been made in Sweden. It's called a vice grip type of stapler, and I just loaded it up. So let's see how it works. I never even used it. So, oh, that was simple. This is like kind of thin. Wow, that felt pretty good, man. I was like, whoa, that went through there with ease. This is like a couple layers of thin cardboard. Let's see if it worked. The Swingline. This is an old one. Yeah, you went through it, but I could tell it's a little crunchy. Whoa, this thing is freaking amazing. That's like butter. Wow. Well, that's pretty good. So, you know, this is an old tech type thing, and some people might look at this and say, well, that looks kind of old-fashioned. Well, you know what? It's freaking great. It's made in Sweden. And, you know, it's not like it was made in USA and they exported the jobs to Sweden. It was always made in Sweden. That's what it is. It's still made in Sweden. So let me just state that, you know, I'm getting tired of these people freaking exporting jobs out of the United States. And I was looking in Wally World, and I says, oh, here's Boss Stitch, here's Swingline. You get the better, because I'm tired of getting these ones that are plastic. And I said, let me get one that's all metal. That's all made in China, and I says it is actually made in China with quality, the same quality made in USA. But I'm irked at the fact that these CEOs and these companies are doing this kind of crap, and I'm like saying, you know, you jerks, I ain't buying it. Now, of course, I couldn't find one made in USA that's all metal, but these were always made in Sweden. It's a smaller company. It's not like, you know, this big conglomerate that's, you know, in other words, the people that own that Swingline and Boss Stitch and, you know, the big names, they're part of another big conglomerate. So I hate these big corporations. But man, this is the first time I just tried it right now, and I said, wow, it's like butter. It is like butter, man. And all you got to do is you load it from the back. It just loads in here through the top right here. You pull this out. You just lift this. It's kind of like in there pretty tight, but you see that little piece right there? That hooks on there with a spring, long squiggly spring, and you just load it in here. But yeah, it's freaking cool. I'm glad I got this, actually, to tell you the truth, because, phew, that is freaking, it's like butter. I don't know what it cost. It's not that much money. I don't know what the hell it was. I forgot. To tell you the truth, man. I mean, it wasn't no more than a lot of other things out there. So, and it does, what, 25 to 50 sheets or something like that, depending on the staples. That's pretty freaking heavy duty, man. And the way this thing is leveraged, I could tell, like that. This is not 2 pieces of paper. This is 2 pieces of thin cardboard. I could tell that this thing would do a lot of paper pretty quick. So 1/4 inch of paper would go through here no problem. So you need little longer staples for that. And I think I have the 5/16 in there. Yeah, 5/16. And I don't know how many sheets that is. Probably 2 to 50 sheets. That's what it says. That's enough. That's the max capacity of this, 2 to 50 sheets. So that should be fine. Yeah. Usually, and then I got a couple giant staplers for bigger stuff than that. So, and but yeah, it's worth getting something like this because, you know, people in the offices use this. I use this quite a bit, but I don't. Well, I tend to print things now more often because They used to say that the print is going to go away because of all the monitors and all the storage and the USB thumb drives and all this garbage. But actually, your print is actually a lot safer than the computer in a lot of ways, because it's your hard drive, it's your monitor, it's your storage system all in one. As long as you got some good laser printing with color laser printer, and you keep things in a nice binder. Freaking outlasted computers by far, So, and then to keep things bound together, you got your little stapler. So that's a pretty good thing. So, I figured I'd put that out there because when I research something, I look for the best value, the most practicality, and now sometimes I research something for many, many, many hours, and I'm just passing on what I do to you. Like I said, you could buy a ball stitch or Swingline that's all metal of the highest quality, but they exported the jobs out of the USA into China, and I'm kind of pissed off at that kind of garbage, and I'm telling the corporation to go to hell. Even though this is not made in the USA, it's made in Sweden. It's always been made in Sweden. It's not a big freaking corporation like the other ones, and they have not taken this out of Sweden and said, "Oh, well, I'm going to send it to China because it's going to save me $2 or something." I'm getting annoyed at that kind of shit. So anyway, and it does work great, man. This thing's got a lot of power to it. It's surprising. So it's like, it's probably got leverage or whatever the hell the way it works. But anyway, it's a good damn stapler. Pretty surprised. It worked a lot better than I thought.